What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and another video and some news coming out of Everton. A couple of bits. First of all, Everton have travelled over to Ireland for their friendly against Sligo, and you know their training camp that they do over there. I think it's quite nice, you know, not travelling across the world. Obviously, there's been a Euros tournament, so I do think it's important that, you know, we stay local. I'm big on this. I know that we have to do work on branding and commercially, but with the Euros being where they are and all of these players being all over the place, no, don't get me wrong, it doesn't massively affect Everton, but for players like Jordan Pickford to then do a Euro campaign and then in 3 weeks' time or 2 weeks' time coming back for, you know, pre-season for a week, I just think it's a bit much. The season obviously only starts in 4 weeks or whatever it is. It's not long. So I'm glad we're staying local. I'm glad we're staying, you know, in the vicinity in the UK, and it'll be good. It'll be good for Everton to just get that time and get them players and get a match under their belt, get some fitness. That's all positive. I did see that Dele Alli was taken with them, so I'm fairly confident you'll see a deal being agreed with him on some form of contract. Don't know what that looks like, but my understanding is that essentially we'd only pay Spurs if we sell Dele, which, you know, if you're talking some lower end contract for a player that hasn't played a lot and maybe some big incentives to do well, goal bonuses, appearance bonuses, etc., then it works out well, and hopefully we'll get to see him. You know, we haven't seen him competitively all of last season, so it'd be really good to see him. And I think just to see how the team's going to work around it, how they're going to mould this team, because, you know, at Milton Keynes Dons, before he was at Spurs, he was a player that could sort of play anywhere in midfield, and then he pushed forward further forward. Wow. And he did really well at Spurs, there's no doubt about it. Then he sort of seemed to lose his way a little bit, and now he's where he is. You know, he's had a season out, he's had his mental problems, he's had his issues off the pitch. He's had the horrendous stories that he shared, and obviously we'd support anyone that goes through all of those things. But hopefully we are going to see some game time with Dele, and hopefully we can see the Dele of old. You know, the one thing I will give Sean Dyche credit for is he does seem to be able to help these players through a rehabilitation period, and hopefully Dele Alli is the same, because we do need more goals from midfield. I'm also looking forward to seeing our new signings, Tim and I, you know, players that have came into this team, have got a job to do fundamentally, see how they fit in, see how they can carry on. And again, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see these players. Jack Harrison is obviously back. He's back on loan, which again is fine. I'd like to see more from him this season. I'd like to see him beat more men and deliver more crosses. That sounds a bit odd, but you get what I'm saying, because there's a player there, but we just didn't see the best of it last season, and I would like to see a bit more of it this season. I want to see someone who is as good as the player that Leeds signed, you know, where I think he got 15 goals and assist contributions in the season. That's exactly the sort of player that Everton need. So I'd like to see that. So yeah, the other news, and obviously we mentioned it the other day, is Amadou Onana. Looks like it's very much done deal that he joins Aston Villa for £50 million, plus I think it's £5 million in add-ons. A sell-on clause to Lille is between 15 and 20%. There's different figures, but it's at least 7.5 to 10 million, plus the money we still owe him. So the deal's okay, but it's not brilliant. But Everton are also looking at signing, and this is the news that broke today, Wilfred Gnonto from Leeds. Now, this is a player we've been linked with a lot. We put in, I think it was 5 bids between last summer and different dates. I think we also went back in for him in January. So He's a player that we know from the Premier League. He also played in the Championship last season, and when he played well. But he's a player that can score goals. He's a player that can make something happen. Italian international, a player that's got all of the attributes for a winger, a tricky winger, you know, skillful, dominant on the ball. You know, he's got a bit of mass, so he's strong. He can carry it really well. He can make a moment of magic just happen. And the rumours of the fee being around £22 million, I don't think that's a bad fee for a winger of his calibre. I do rate him highly. And I do wonder if Everton have been linked with, you know, these players like Minter and Philogene. I do wonder where he was actually in that packing order. I wonder if that was a disguise to go and get the man that they've wanted for so long. I mean, I don't know. They may have, it may not be, but I do think it's a sign that it says positive play, doesn't it? You know, it's a pacey player. It's a player that will carry the ball, and we're seeing more of these players coming into this Sean Dyche side, and that excites me. You know, that excites me. Players that are going to be playing on the front foot. You know, I watched the England performance last night, and we were so static at times, and we've been guilty of that at Everton. And it's nice to see players that are trying to bring in to change that. You know, these aren't world beaters. You know, Gnonto for £20 million. He's not a world beater. Not yet. He might be. He's only 20, but he's not a world beater. Ndai, £16 million. Again, he's not a world beater. But these are players that are capable of opening up defences, and they're equally capable of putting an extra few £1 million on their price tag in 4 or 5 years' time. And as much as I don't want to sell players to anyone, unless I want them to leave, obviously, in a climate where we've got to make money for PSR and we've got to comply with the rules, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing having various revenue streams and losing a player and bringing in another young player to replace them. You know, there's another player, I think it's Johnny Rowe at Norwich. He's a young player who excites me as well, and Everton haven't been linked with him, but he's the sort of player that I'd happily be linked with. I want to see us doing more of these moves, and I know they're a bit of a gamble. You know, they are a bit of a gamble because these players, you know, they've either got limited Premier League experience or no Premier League experience. But these are also the players that Brighton have turned into like £100 million Cansado deals. So I think it's positive. I think it's exciting. I'm interested to see how that would work. You know, Gnonto, Dele Alli, Ndai, Tim behind them, Ghana. It won't be Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin will be sold, but it'll be interesting to see who comes in, because I doubt it'll be Beto or Chimiti playing up front. So yeah, I'm interested, I'm excited, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it does look like Gnonto deal could very much happen. Everton have threw their hat in the ring. So have Newcastle. But Gnonto has already gone down this path with Everton. He's already had discussions with Everton, and it is a deal that Everton want to get done, which is exciting. So, guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you follow us as always. John is on yet another holiday. I mean, it is a joke how many holidays that man has. Clearly a millionaire. And hopefully he's having a good time. He flew out this morning. Hopefully the weather's better than what it is here. And yeah, he'll come on the channel as and when he can. But I appreciate family time always comes first. And, you know, we are where we are. It is July. It is becoming the summer holidays. So we've got to do the right things. Guys, keep smiling. Up the toffees. Peace.